for sharing. And folks, look forward to Thursday. Thursday is going to be really powerful. Don't miss Thursday night at all. Don't miss Thursday night at all. And again, 3 days with the King. We look forward to seeing you there for you. We want a full house. We want a full house. And remember, those 3 days we'll be having several sessions during the day. All right, 6 sessions a day. So we want you to be a part of it. Okay, so let's continue where we left off with our kingdom study last evening. We were talking about during the topic, how are you? And this R we're looking at is righteousness. And we are saying righteous living is living holy and upright in accordance to the standards that God has set. According to God's standards, living holy and upright, not according to man's standard, but according to the standard that God had set. And the last thing we did, we said we were going to look at, because we asked the question, what is living righteously? What is righteous living? What is living right? And we're looking at Ephesians chapter 6 that identifies 5 groups of people. And the first group of people is found in Ephesians 6 chapter verses 1 to 3. And if you can read that, I don't know if someone chose that to read. Ephesians chapter 6 verses 1 to 3. Could somebody read that, please? I hope you had a chance to choose your verses. If you did, please have your verses ready to be read when you're called on. Okay, talk to me, somebody.
Doc, I'll do it for you, right? Ephesians chapter 6 and verses 1. Sorry?
Yes, 1 to 3.
Yeah, 1 to 3. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with you and you may live long on the earth.
Okay, thank you. So we're talking to children first, telling them to obey their parents. We said the parents include even the village, those people who mentor you, who look after you. And then it's what's specific when it says honor your father and mother. We looked at what honoring is: to regard with great respect, to be obedient. And we also asked the question, why is honoring your parents important to God? And we said, you can't honor God if you can't honor your parents. You can't honor God, you can't see, if you can't honor your parents, whom you can see and whom you live with. So we are looking at honoring our parents. Now, the opposite of honoring is dishonoring. And most of us here, a lot of us here are parents. And you would have experienced your children either honoring you or dishonoring you in your lifetime, in their lifetime. What are some of the ways children dishonor parents? Talk to me, somebody. What are some of the ways that children, and we want to say that because we have children, I'm sure, listening, children who might be looking at this, and we want to let them know that when you do this, you are dishonoring your parents. So what are some of the ways? Come on, we have plenty of parents on this chat. What are some of the ways children dishonor parents?
Minister Joshua.
Are we talking about minors here? Children?
Yeah, Dr. Minister Joshua.
Joshua. Hello? Okay, I'm not hearing anything. Joshua?
Yes, Dr. Richards. Complaining when they're given an instruction. Like yeah, when there's something that they don't like to do and the parent tells them to do it. And you know, they complain and they react in a certain way, you know. Sometimes they let out their frustration by sometimes arguing, sometimes just
talking
back here, that kind of thing. So that is dishonoring the parents.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? What are some of the ways children dishonor their parents? Come on.
We have some comment in the chat. By being disobedient to their parents, grumbling at us, sucking their teeth, being rebellious by doing what their parents ask them not to do.
Yes, those are some of the ways that we can disobey, or sorry, dishonor our parents. Anybody else? So you have things like talking back. How about rolling your eyes? Being verbally
There's
and
a
physically abusive too sometimes. Yes. Go
there's a
ahead.
common curse in them.
Person. You dishonor your parents to do that. How about hooking up with the wrong friends? The wrong set of people? How about joining gangs? All that is part of dishonoring your parents. How about a simple thing like not doing your homework? Homework from school and homework from home.
Yeah, by being stubborn. Someone says by being stubborn,
By being stubborn.
by slamming the door,
All that is dishonoring.
stealing from parents,
Stealing from parents. How about as
talking
they
to their
get
parents as if they are talking to their parents as if they are older than the parent.
that's
Um,
that's
by
that's a
li-
serious one.
by lying,
Lying.
hitting your parents.
Physically abusive. Yeah,
Wow.
all that. All that. And imagine that people do hit their parents.
Yes, abusive to parents, smoking.
Mm-hmm. How about not adhering to what they are taught by their parents? And I say that as I say that I think about um there are some parents when the child or children do something, you ask them, but I never taught you that. That's not the way I brought you up. That's not the way I brought you up. And you one of the things that children need to understand is to have value. And this is one of the roles of the father, to instill that value in their children. And the value I'm talking about is that your family values. Our family adheres to these standards. We don't do this. We don't do that. And you teach your children that. And when they go astray, that's when they dishonor their parents.
Another comment, Dr. Richards, is that parents need to be fair.
No. Well, we listen. We're talking, the question is, what are some of the ways children dishonor their parents? That's what we're asking about. Yes, parents need to
Right.
be
So
fair.
the comment is saying that the reason why they're dishonoring their parents because the parents need to be fair.
I don't
So it's
understand that.
it's a
Is
form of
that
rebellion.
FAIR? Is parents need to be fair? FAIR? Is that it?
Yes, so that I guess it's a form of rebellion.
No, but that's rebellion. That's
Yeah.
rebellion. You just listen, even if your parents are not fair or you don't feel the parents are not fair, then you still are supposed to honor your parents. Whether you think they're fair or not, because sometimes that fairness is in your mind. You feel they're not being fair. From your standpoint, you don't feel your parents being fair. But that does not give you the reason to dishonor your parents or disobey them or disrespect them. No way. And yet it is true that sometimes parents can be unfair in their treatment. But that's another thing. So I don't want us to start making excuses for being disobedient or dishonoring to our parents. I don't want us to start making excuses, because we could find all sorts of reasons. Listen, one of the challenging things, especially for pastors, their children, somehow it just seemed to go naturally that pastors' children seem to, maybe they feel that they're too, maybe their parents try to be too strict, or they're too much in the word, they say closer to the church, further away from God. Somehow pastors' children seem to, a lot of them disrespect and dishonor their parents. A lot of PKs, but they call them PKs, pastors' kids. I don't like the term kids at all. But you have to understand, especially if your parents, whether they are pastors or leaders in the community, or they're in a position where people look at them, you have to walk in that same respect that your parents get. So your parents can't be a pastor and you doing all kind of thing and people looking at you. You're dishonoring your parents. You think the prime minister's son or daughter could be liming and drinking and smoking and that kind of thing? You have to honor your parents and their position. So it's important to honor your parents and not dishonor them. What are some of the ways older children dishonor their parents? Older ones, not just minors. Anybody? I could think of two. Yes, go ahead.
We have some comments in the chat. Body language, Doc.
Body language, yes.
Disrespect parents, rebellious, too sheltered. And kids are young goat. Somebody put that.
Correct. Kids are young goats. How about keeping their grandchildren from them? Isn't that a way of dishonoring your parents? You're keeping your grandchildren. You know, grandparents love grandchildren, but you want to punish them. How about putting them in homes? There's somebody in this ministry said, I don't want, oh, she said it, boy. My children will never put me in a home, no matter what. Yeah, we don't like to be placed in homes because you know what happens when you're placed in home, you get forgotten and then they treat you all how in those homes.
Dr. Just we have some comments as well. One says, coming home late, early hours of the morning.
Correct, Mundo. You're dishonoring your parents.
By stealing their property, by getting caught up and too busy in their own lives and too busy to visit those who took care of them when they were younger. Not looking for their parents, sleeping out, taking their money, not providing financial assistance when they are in need, ill-treat their parents when you tell them no partying and they hide and do it still.
All that is dishonoring your parents. And why is that? Why are we taking the time to highlight all of this? Because God says, honor your father and your mother, that your days would be long in the earth. So you have to know and understand that when you dishonor your parents, you're affecting your own self, your own lives. When you dishonor your parents, you are bringing judgment on yourself. So we have to remember that. And children have to remember that. And remember as well, there are two types of children. One are the minors, but we also have older children because some of us still have parents and we are still their children. And we ought to honor them even in their old age as they're getting on in age. You know, our society is probably one of the few societies that doesn't honor the aged people. Even back in the days, you know, of the Old Testament and even into the New Testament, elders held a high position. They were held in high esteem. And even now in some of the Middle Eastern countries, elders, the older you are honored. Not us. We tend to park up our parents and the older ones after they reach a certain age. We need to honor our parents. Even as adults, we need to honor our parents. Now let's look at some of the ways as an adult you can honor your parents. What are some of the ways as an adult person, because we have mainly adult person in this family right now. What are some of the ways you think you can honor your parents? Come on, you may not be living with them, you may be on your own, but it doesn't mean that you're not supposed to honor them. So what are some of the ways? Let's hear you. Nobody? Nobody here has parents?
We have some comments. I'm just reading the comments that were there before, right? Steal from
Mhm.
them by not doing anything to help them, obey, loving them and take care of them, loving them and take care of them and their needs by being respectful to others, love them, spending time with them by being respectful, going to the doctor with them, and all expense paid vacation.
Wow.
Take care of, yeah,
Well, if you
take
can
care of them.
afford that.
Yeah, take care of them, give them full respect, taking good care of them again, take them, I think they meant take them to the grocery, living up to your family good name by taking time out to listen to them, sitting and talking to them, spending time with them, helping take care of them and their needs. Make sure they are well taken care of, showing kindness to them, give them an allowance.
I hope you all are hearing what you all are saying. Eh? I hope people are not just saying these things because we're talking about practical living. Eh? We're talking about kingdom principles. Eh? We're talking about what we should do to honor our parents, not just on paper, not just what sounds good, but what we should really do. Let me give you some ways that we can honor our parents. One, we could be thankful for them. And we could tell them, we could say to them, thank you for raising me. Thank you. You know that song that was sung by, who sang it, boy? No Charge. You know that song, No Charge? For the 9 months I carried you, growing inside of me. No Charge. You remember that song? We have to be thankful for our parents. Now, I know some of us might be saying, I didn't have a good experience with my parents. I know you're saying that. But you have got to understand that they are your parents. You came from them. Your father and your mother got together and they had you. And so you need to be thankful for whatever little sacrifice they made, whatever they did, we have to be thankful. How about being patient with them? Being patient. Ephesians 4:2. Ephesians 4:2. What does that say?
Ephesians 4:2. With all lowliness and gentleness, with long suffering, bearing with one another in love.
Right. Thank you. Lowliness and gentleness, long suffering, bearing one another. Be patient with them. Listen, they are not as fast as they used to be in terms of physical mobility or even their minds. They may not understand things that you understand. And I say that even for me at my age with my children, with our children, they could, listen, there are certain things they could, like that, especially when we talk about technology. Be patient. You have to understand that I didn't grow up in this era. I grew up in an era where these things were not a part of my life. But you have grown up in it, so it's easy for you. So you got to be patient with your elders, be patient with your parents. How about listen to them? We talk about that. Proverbs 23:22. Proverbs 23:22. Could somebody read that? Whoever has that. Proverbs 23:22.
Good night, family. Proverbs 23:22. Hearken unto thy father that begat thee, and despise not thy mother when she is old. Amen.
Thank you. Hearken means to listen. Listen to your father and don't despise your mother. Listen, that's how you honor them. You listen to them.
Sister Debbie, hands up, Dr. Richards.
Go ahead. Can she unmute? Of course.
Yes, on mute. You hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Good night. Yeah, my father, as I was saying, he's a real living experience. I don't think I'll ever forget this man. But the thing about it, we're speaking, the topic we're speaking about tonight is I recall, even though when he was younger, he was well boisterous and he was again like a lion. You know, he reached our age, he's 81 years old, God bless him. And the other day, I was talking to him, but I realized now when I'm speaking to him, he bit slow, you know, and you know they say once a man, twice a child, right? He's slow. So sometimes if you had to say my son, he will say your daughter. It'll be like my daughter. You say his daughter, your big daughter, so that's my son. You know, so I realized what going on with it. So it had a situation home. And to me, I was speaking to him normal, right? And the man started to cry. After that good cry, you know, and one time there, Professor, it hit me like this is what I was talking about. Once a man, twice a child. You know, I had also toned down everything, my approach, everything. When I have to talk to him, when I have to go to him now, you understand? He's like a 5-year-old, you know, and I have to take my time. You understand? Don't rough him up, don't talk too hard for him. Because this strong man, and you know, it's very hard for me to see it like this, because this strong, big man, solid man, he used to beat the chest and say long time, I the boss, I the boss. You know? Now here it is, you know, if you say boo, he want to cry. You know, but I thank God that I'm around him. You know, it's still that even though, you know, I could have run away and leave him long time ago, but I'm the only one really stayed with him, you know, out of his 10 children. And many of them will say, Debbie, I don't know how you do it now, girl, but you're real good. I say it's only God, it's only God. But I'm thank God that I'm here today and I could stay with him, because the way the mindset he have right now, I can't really see nobody roughing him up, talking to him hard or buffing him right now. You understand? I will be on your throat like that, because I got to understand, you know, how the situation that he is in now. He don't want to be there, but he is there now. And you're quite correct, you know, you're quite correct. Even though you know, the scripture tell us, you know, parents don't provoke you into anger too. We really have to honor them. My grandmother is 99 years old. Whenever she calls me, she does tell me the same thing. Debbie, honor your father. He might be this, he might be that, but thank God he's around and take care of him and love him. God will bless you and her daughter. She's 99 years old. So I try to agree to what you're saying tonight. We really, really have to honor them, and you know, if you have to baby them, then make them feel special. Because remember, they remember all the wrong that they have done, they know that, and they are so glad to see that they're still around. That I can see my great grand and I can see my grandchildren. So we really have to honor them. In spite of what, we have to really keep them close. Because when they're gone, that is it.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Sister Debbie. And one of the things that she was talking, one of the things we have to do in terms of honoring them is that we have to let go of the past. A lot of us hold on to the past. My father used to beat me. My mother used to do this, or my mother never used to listen to me when I tell her about this. And we hold on to the past, and there's unforgiveness because of what has happened. Listen, it can't change the past. But the scripture does say it doesn't give conditions for honoring your parents, you know. It didn't say honor your parents if they were good to you, you know. It said honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long. So some of us need to forgive and release our parents for what they did to us when we were growing up. I remember just today, I don't know why it came to mind, maybe because I was, you know, thinking about this. I got licks for something that I didn't do. I got licks from my father for something one of my aunts did. Not you, Linda. Something, some books I don't remember. I know something to do with some books that was left on a center table, and the books weren't supposed to be there, but it wasn't my books. And my father came home and he didn't ask a question. He just took. My father didn't used to beat plenty, but he used to give you. He had a swizzle stick. He was a big swizzle stick, and it was just about 3 or 4. You used to get pow, 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 but they used to be hot. And I got licks for her. And I could have hold that against him because he found out after. I never got an apology, you know, and you hear things like, well, that's for something you didn't get licks for. We always tell our children that when we do that. Don't hold on to these things. That was so many years ago. So we have to understand that we have to forgive our parents, release them. It may mean we have to go and reach out to them. You may not be the same space as Sister Debbie, where your father is right there, but it may mean that you have to reach out to them, go A lot of times they're waiting on you, a lot of times they're sorry for how they treated you, and they don't know how to approach you. They don't know how to come to you. It's up to you. Go to them. Forgive them. And some of them, you have to ask their forgiveness for the way you treated them, for you being rebellious and for you doing all the things that you should not have done. So we have to honor our parents. We have to care for them. 1 Timothy 5:8. Let's read that quickly. 1 Timothy 5:8.
1 Timothy 5:8. Do not rebuke an older man, but exhort him as a father, younger men as brothers.
Don't rebuke them. Do not rebuke them. Care for them. Don't rebuke them, especially in public.
Oh no,
1
that's
Timothy,
fine.
1 Timothy 5.
5:1, sorry, I
That's
read.
5:1. Yeah. In other words, don't disrespect them. Let's read 1 Timothy 5:8 too. 1 Timothy 5:8. Quickly.
But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those.
Okay, what happened there? Hello?
But if
Hello?
anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for those of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever.
All right. So we need to take care of them, even in their old age. We have to take care of them, of our parents. Ensure that they're being taken. You know, my parents are being abused by other people. And we because we don't go and look for them, we don't know, we put them in a home. No, we have to care for them. We have to care for them. All right, so don't disrespect them, care for them. And let's look at Psalm 71:9. We're going to end here.
Bless good night. Psalm 71 and verse 9. Cast me not off in the time of old age. Forsake me not when my strength faileth.
What does that mean? Don't put them away. Pray for them. Lift them up. Encourage them. We need to honor our parents, because when we get older, we want, and not when we get older, even right now, we want our children to honor us. And we in turn should honor our parents and let it go from generation to generation. God said it. It's one of the 10 commandments he gave, and it's the only one with a promise. You want to live long, and not only live long, but you want to live well in the earth, honor your father and your mother. I don't know if right now you are estranged from your parents. In other words, you don't talk to them. You don't talk to your father. You don't talk to your mother because of whatever happened. Listen, time is too short for that. Time is too short. It's time for somebody to make a phone call. It's time for somebody to pay a visit. Is it going to be you, or are you still going to wait for them to come to you? Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land which the Lord your God gives you. That's what he said to the Israelites. And in the New Testament, it was updated to honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the earth. That relates to us. Okay? So when we come off tonight, even if you have to do it tonight, pick up the phone, call your father, call your mother. And it may not be just your father and your mother, that person who used to take care of you. I grew up with my aunts and uncles. All right, they were like my parents. And I honor them. I honor them. And I want to encourage you to do the same. Whoever it is to take care of you, whoever it is, sacrifice for you, whoever it is, and whatever they did, even if it was wrong, it was bad, honor them. Give them a call. Yes? God bless you. We're going to end here this evening. We're going to continue tomorrow, and we're going to look at the next group of people when we come tomorrow evening to look at how we should live right. God bless you. Have a wonderful night. I love you, and I